about printing house. It was built by my great grandfather in Bandung. So it's was built at 1906 and then it's bankrupt in 1987. This is why I choose to talk about Aurora, the name of the printing house, because I still have a strong memory when I was in the school, elementary school. I went there many times to see my grandpa, and after his died, the printing house was taken over by my mother, and then have a family conflict, and then after with my grandma, and then after all because it's a lot of too many loan, and then it's bankrupt. Also, when I went there, I still remember how the sound of the machine, because it's all old machine. They still have the stand with the stand to print the things, and then I still remember the sound, and then I still remember the machine also. And then after when I get this project, the Indonesia project, I want to know more about the printing house, because I heard from some people that the printing house is the modern printing house in the time. The 1906 is the most modern. So I want to know what is this, also because I was studying at art school, and I know that the printing house printing is also one of the something that because when it is bankrupt, all the machine is go to the recycle island, and then they just sell it like in a kilo. So they scrap all the machine, and now you cannot see the machine anymore except the halibut. They sell the halibut, but for the stand and everything is already recycled. So I feel very it's very pretty that very sad that we cannot see the history of the machine, and also because actually my grandfather is collect all the printing material, but it's already burned. Yeah. And so all the history I think is now is gone. So I went to one of my grandpa cousin. He was he's already old now, very old, but he was working in the printing house and tell how's the printing house and anything about the printing house. And I also opened my mom's something to put something precious, the old branches. If you have something like in the bag and then have something to put money inside, the safety box. Yeah, but the old one, we have one in our house, the old safety box. And then I found some manuscript about the printing house, and it's very interesting because I can see there's a manuscript that is 1940, and they still use Dutch, the language. And also when I don't know, but the date is using the Japanese date. Japanese is maybe in the 42 until 45, something like that. And for this one in 1953 is using Indonesia, but Indonesia in the Indonesia language is changed from the old one to the new one. So using the old one, and also I think also it's 1958 is also using the old one, and this one is the name of the street in Ayer is named Aurora because the printing house is quite big, and there's the small island beside the printing house. So they give name Aurora because of the name of the printing house. Because it's very big.
you found.
Ada?
In the document that you found, the
Yes.
story of the printing press, as you've displayed there, the printing press is often, how to say, a very important side of power, isn't it? Because whoever is ruling is printing in their language. So I wonder, in the document that you found, is there any detail about that change, as you say, from the Javanese to the Japanese to the Indonesian? Is there much detail about how the printing press was used over those different times?
Stories of the change, of the change language stories.
Actually, the change language story I already know when I was in the school, and then when I found a lot of manuscript in the brankas in the safety box,
Yeah.
so I just like spread it and then look. Oh, that is very funny. I found that it's in Japanese date and also it's in the Dutch and in Dutch language. I asked my father what is this about, and then also in Indonesia, and I found a lot of manuscript from also I found interesting.
And what kind of documents did you find?
Something more like like a letter to permit, letter of permit to have letter of permit, something like that. Permits, letter of permit. If you want to have a machine, you have a permit from the government, something like that, and also it's like an invoice or something like that, and yeah, anything like that, like a permit, and also like the how many, like like a report for the company is like how much money do you give to the people who work, the employer, something like that. But I didn't found anything the printing material, but my grandfather's cousin tell that the printing house is print the like like the etiquette, we call etiquette, like if you have something like the old butter, they have like something for the like lemonade, something like that, so they print something like that, and also print from the government, because the government need like a paper like for something like this.
Letterheads.
Something like this. So.
Is the machine a Dutch machine or American or
Germany.
German? Okay, German.
And I see that you put the name Aurora. So in your childhood memory, is that like an exotic name, Aurora?
Actually, Aurora, my family name in Chinese is Ao. So my great grandfather name is Ao Chi Ti. And I think I heard from Antarisa, the one Antarisa told me that in that era, in that time, a lot of in Bandung, in a lot of things like a show or like a lot of company or anything happens that like open like a show or anything using the name like Aurora. Sun, something like that's more like powerful, anything something like that. Sun and star, something. Is the Aurora name is famous in the like in that era is like
Lucky,
lot of
lucky.
people like to use name like Aurora, sun, star, shining star,
Auspicious.
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And the irony is that the printer is Chinese, but you cannot print in Chinese. Would that be right?
Me? What?
The irony is that your grandfather is Chinese, but you cannot print the Chinese text. Is that true?
I don't know I don't know if my great grandfather can Chinese or no. I don't know, but my father cannot, my grandfather cannot, because in Indonesia there's I think like my mother can speak Chinese also, but my father cannot. It's like who adopt the Dutch, so they more. They can speak Dutch very well, but not Chinese.
So no more like you cannot, it's illegal in the Chinese case.
Oh yeah. So, okay, so yeah, it's illegal to paint Chinese text also in 90 below 98. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
In 96.
96, yeah.
Wait, I mean 1960. But there's no irony. I think there's no irony in this case. I mean, in this moment, there's no irony about they are Chinese and they are using German European machine, but they cannot typing or printing Chinese characters or Chinese letters because what they are doing just business.
Yeah.
They don't think about irony. They don't think about
Yeah, because
ideological.
my grandfather, yeah, because my grandfather also is like, I just know from his cousin that he also make a magazine. Is the name of the magazine is Giat Business. Giat Business is what is this? I like business, something like that. Like business, something like that. So the name of the business. Ini biasa.
Okay.